What's going on, bro? It's been a minute since I recorded a video, so I might be a little bit sloppy here. But today we're talking about a very important topic, and that is motivation. How to stay motivated to achieve your goals. I know this is something many people struggle with. I struggled with it in the past, and I still kind of do to this day. But there's some things that I've picked up along the way that I want to share with you so that you hopefully don't stay stuck on the road to self-mastery. A lot of times we achieve things, we do great things in our lives, and then afterwards we just slack off because, we already achieved the goal. Why do we need to keep going? I don't have motivation because I already did what I needed to do. And then there's the case of I just don't feel like doing it. I got bad sleep. I'm kind of tired. There's a lot of reasons why we procrastinate and why we don't have motivation. And in this video, I hope to add some value to you. I hope to teach you a little bit about how to stay more motivated and how to not lose that drive and ambition for your goals. Motivation is one of the biggest reasons and one of the biggest excuses for why people don't get work done. Whenever someone says, I don't feel motivated to do something, I quite literally feel like punching them in the face and telling them to get to work. But at the same time, I kind of understand them. It's difficult to stay motivated all the time, and that's why you can't really stay motivated all the time. And that's why all these self-help gurus are telling you that motivation doesn't matter and discipline is the thing that matters most. But you do need some motivation to achieve your goals, because discipline by itself will not do anything. You need to have a goal at the end for that discipline to actually work. And that goal should be driven at least somewhat on most days by your motivation for that goal. Think about it like this. Motivation is the spark and discipline is the fuel. If you think about it that way and implement it into your life that way, it will work much better for you than if you just rely completely on motivational videos to get you through your work. It's not really going to work optimally. You should at least understand that somebody who relies only on motivation does not get very far. People who rely on external factors for their own growth will not make it anywhere. You need to internally be strong, have the discipline within yourself to push forward and achieve things by yourself without the need of external influence like motivational videos, Instagram Reels, or TikTok, or whatever people watch these days. Now let's talk about the problem with motivation. Why is it such a big issue in the modern day? And how can we stop this? So a man's value, first and foremost, is not measured when he's doing things he's motivated to do, but when he's doing things that he's not motivated to do in the slightest. Take a person like David Goggins, and I hope you know who he is, because if you don't, this example wouldn't make sense. He's someone who purposely does things he hates so that he develops a discipline to do things that he hates. If you consistently do things you don't want to do, eventually you develop the discipline to do whatever the hell you need to do. For example, if your most hated thing is running in the morning, first thing in the morning, then do it. Don't do it because you want to become a better runner, but do it because you hate it. Quite literally, do the things that you hate because you hate them. That will develop your discipline, and that will allow you to rely less on motivation and more on your own power to move forward. A man's value is measured when he's doing things that he doesn't want to do, when he's doing the difficult things that he knows will give him value in the future. You have the kind of motivation that isn't the kind that you get from other videos or from external factors. The motivation needs to be from you. You need to continuously obsess over that goal, so the motivation keeps coming back when you need it most. When you think about what you want, you should have a little spark, a click in your mind that just wants you to keep pushing forward. That's the kind of motivation you want to cultivate, not the kind from external factors like videos and, as I mentioned before, things of that nature. Everything has to be within you. All the answers are within you. There is nothing externally that you need. You don't need to watch these videos. I'm just trying to provide you with some information. Most of the answers you're looking for come from looking within yourself. That goes for motivation as well. If you want to stay motivated, it comes from the drive within you. The reason people give in to not being motivated is quite literally only because they value comfort more than their goals. If you had a goal that you cared so much about, if it meant like the entire world to you, you would not sacrifice that goal for comfort, and you would not be worried about motivation. You would not be watching these videos on how to stay motivated. If everyone was always motivated, then what would be the difficulty in doing anything? There's a beauty in doing difficult things, and part of that beauty is that not everybody is doing it. You being the only one or one of the few to actually do these things gives you confidence. It gives you this drive, this feeling that you're ahead of other people without being arrogant. I hope you know now that motivation is extremely important. I've given you some blueprints, some ideas as to the value of motivation and how to use it properly. Well, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video as to how to actually stay motivated, how to not lose the drive for the goals that you've hopefully put up on your wall. Because if you haven't, that's step number one. You need to have goals to come back to. You need to have things that you can look at every single day, be like, yeah, that's my goal right there. I want to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. When you look at that goal and you see it, there should be some kind of feeling like, yeah, I got to get back to work. That's how you know you value your goal very much. If there is something behind the goal, if there's a reason for you to achieve this goal, for example, maybe you want to hit 100,000 subscribers to earn the kind of money to support your family. That's powerful. That's something that you will not sacrifice for comfort. Whereas if you just have a goal like, oh, I want 100,000 subscribers because it feels good, because it looks good, because I want to brag to my friends, that's not really going to work very well now, is it? At the end of the day, the important thing is you need to be able to come back to these goals when you're at your lowest points so that you don't remain at these lowest points and so that you have the drive to keep moving forward. The goals have to be powerful, and the goals are the number one things that will keep you motivated in the right way. The second thing is a dopamine fast. Now, you may or may not have tried a dopamine fast, but a lot of people make the mistake of going cold turkey on the first few days. And what happens after that is they just don't stay on track, lose track of their progress, and then fall back into the comfort and the pleasure that they were typically used to. I have actually fallen for this many times. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to make up stuff and say, you know, I'm perfect with this stuff, because I'm absolutely not. It is very difficult to detox and stay away from this dopamine, this stimulation. But once you do, normal activities become more enjoyable to you, and you don't even really need motivation or that much discipline, because just doing work is enjoyable. So dopamine fasting is an excellent hack for you to get ahead of the game. It resets your dopamine receptors, so you're less susceptible to having no motivation, and you're less likely to indulge in these pleasurable activities because things like, I don't know, editing videos, doing your schoolwork, provide enough dopamine for you anyways. Number 3, you need to build habits. I hope this is pretty obvious by now. But once you build habits, you just naturally stick to them. You don't even need motivation to like get up in the morning and work. If you've gotten up in the morning and worked for the last 3 months, it's habit, it's natural for you, muscle memory. You just start tapping on the keyboard. That's just the way it goes. If you build habits, if you build small atomic habits, eventually they'll compound into being very useful parts of your day, to the point where you don't even need motivation that much, and you can just sit down and do the work you need to do because you've done it so many times. Number 4 and 5 go hand in hand, and they're both from the book Never Finished by David Goggins. They're both excellent concepts that I've implemented into my life, and I think they're the most important out of these 5. So number 4 is to create an image of someone else who is already better than you and who you are racing to be better than. So create just an image of somebody. It could be anyone. It could be yourself in 5 or 10 years. It could be a rival you're going against in real life, or just a make-believe rival. At the end of the day, you should realize that there probably are people working harder than you out there. And if you awaken that masculine competitive nature within you, and if you're a competitive person just naturally, then this is going to work even better for you, because you do not want to lose to this person. You want to be ahead of them at all times. And knowing that they're working harder than you just drives you to work harder than them. It just drives you to get to work, stop being lazy, and do what you need to do. So create an imaginary person who's working harder than you, who's doing more than you, and try your best to beat them. There might not even be that imaginary, because at the end of the day, there are people out there working harder than you. And you gotta be, it's kind of cliche, but as The Rock says, the hardest worker in the room. Number 5 is pretty similar, but create an alter ego for yourself. As David Goggins mentioned, he could not do the work he needed to do as David Goggins. So he created Goggins, and that was the figure. Whenever he went into like Goggins mode, it sounds cringe, like anime like, but every time he went into Goggins mode, he got the work done, because Goggins had that image and that persona of being an extremely hardworking individual that would just not stop doing the work. If you create an alter ego for yourself like that, then every time you sort of tap into that personality, you should naturally just get to work, because that's what the personality was built to be. That's the image surrounding the personality. And as I hope you know, self-image is one of the most powerful things out there. So try these 5 habits to improve your motivation. Hopefully it gets you back to work. And if it doesn't work for you, then you probably need to try other things. You know, there's only so many things I know how to give you. And if this doesn't work, then I wish you the best. Now, to conclude, motivation is obviously extremely important, but it should not be the sole thing that drives you. You should have goals for yourself instead of needing to watch external videos to get that kind of spark. You should have that spark within you to keep moving forward. Don't use it as the fuel, use it as the starter. Use motivation in adequate amounts. Use it internally and use it to your advantage, most importantly. Make use of the 5 habits I mentioned in this video, and I do hope that it brings you the utmost success. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to reject mediocrity and embrace mastery, and I'll see you in the next one.